forever. So what we want to do first is let's just learn how the OnStart block works. So when I click on my basic, I get these series of blocks, and so I'm going to put show string. Basically that means show me some text. And so I'm going to type into my box, say hi with a few exclamation marks. And notice it's kind of brown with a little yellow around it because I clicked on it. So that means it's highlighted and it's active block. So I'm going to move it, and notice when I drag it over, the OnStart block has a yellow, and notice they fit together just like a puzzle piece. So if you use Scratch, this is very similar to Scratch. And look over here in our simulation. And now it says OnStart the program. It says hi, but notice it stops. But let's imagine that I wanted to have something that ran forever. So again, I can go back to my basic. I'm going to say, I'm going to put an icon in here. So I really like what I'm doing, so I'm going to show my icon of a heart. And maybe I really want to do something else. Let's say I want to show another icon, and I want it to be a happy face. And let's do one more. I'm going to show another icon, and I want it to be, how about Pac-Man Ghost. And now when my program runs, and it will automatically run in our simulation, notice it's going to keep running through our heart, smiley face, Pac-Man, just over and over and over again. You'll be able to do that forever. And if you click the slow-mo icon, which is a snail, you'll see in your programming window that the blocks light up. And what will be nice about that later is that if you write a program and it doesn't work, you can run it, and you might see where your program is getting stuck because it will stop running. Okay. But I also can show specific LEDs if I wanted to. So let's say that I wanted to show that if something happened, my temperature was too hot and I just wanted to make an H. You can just highlight the LEDs that you want to show, and then they will show up on our little simulation. So there's my heart, there's my smiley face, Pac-Man, H. Now it's going to keep repeating that, right? But if these were text, you might want to slow it down. So the other commands that you have access to is you can say, hey, I want to pause for a little bit. So I want to make these guys stay on my screen a little bit longer, so I can just drag my little pause blocks, say, in between each one of these, and that's going to cause things to slow down. And computers think in terms of milliseconds, right, which is 1,000th of a second. So this is a pause of 100 milliseconds. So if you want to change it for a second, you have to click that little drop-down menu, and you can change it to a second, and that will allow it to stay longer on the screen. So notice I've changed it, and let's see what happens over here. Here we are. There's my hi. That's on the start. So I'm going to show my icon. I'm going to pause for a second. Next icon, pause for a second. And then I'm going to get to my H, and notice it quickly jumped because I didn't put a pause down here. So that is our first program. And now that we've saved it, there we've got our first, now we need to save it. And so I've labeled it as first. So if you just click the save icon down here in the bottom left, it'll download it. And what you'll need to do is go find where it saved it. Usually it saves it in your downloads folder on your computer. And right there it is. Notice it puts the word microbit in front of the name that you saved it as. This is my second time saving it, as every time that you saved a file, it will put a number after it so you know which one is the latest one. Right, you can see where I was working earlier and creating a timer, and I saved it 10 times, so I saved it. So I have 10 files. So I'm going to grab my top one, because that's the latest one, and I am going to drag it down over onto my file. But I have forgotten one critical feature. So now that we're ready to transfer our file, we know where it is, let's plug in our microbit. So we're going to take our microbit, grab our USB cable, and you're going to plug it in like a phone. And notice is that these guys are designed to be plugged in one way. So if it doesn't go in one way, just flip it around. It'll go right in. And you know you've got it plugged in right and it's getting power because you have a light that comes on. And you should have the other end plugged into your computer. And now what we're going to do is I'm going to take this file and I'm going to drag it to my microbit icon that pops up. And it may pop up a whole window. I tend to just drag it within this one window here. So I'm going to take my file, I'm going to drag it over to my icon that says microbit, and it's going to transfer it. Right. There it goes. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to run my program. And there's my heart, there's my smiley face, there's my Pac-Man, there's my H, and it quickly jumps back to my heart, and it's going to keep repeating this running program forever. You have now created your first program for a microbit.